Staying with this, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are poised for a dominating showing in one of the last multi-state primary days of the 2016 presidential campaign today. And to give us a sense of the political climate at the moment, I'm joined now by John Beaver, our correspondent in Washington. John, good afternoon. Good to have you with us. John, we're still months away from the actual vote in November, but we've got primary elections in 5 key states today. How important are these to frontrunners Clinton and Trump?
Well, they're being sold here as being vitally important. As you said, this is one of the last big days of the campaign. Multiple states voting today, 5 in total, up and down the East Coast. The polls have opened, so voters deciding who they want to be the presidential nomination for both the Democrats and the Republicans. For the Republicans, the frontrunner is, of course, the outspoken and headline-grabbing Donald Trump. He's expected to do very well today, could win all 5 states. The same is true for the Democrats and Hillary Clinton. She leads comfortably, and again, if the polls are to be believed, she could win all 5 states as well. So today being seen as an important step for those two as they both continue in their bid to be the presidential nomination for their party.
John, we hear conflicting reports about Hillary Clinton. As far as sentiment is concerned, how popular is she really?
Well, people who like her seem to like her a lot. She does very well in southern states where there's a predominantly black electorate, and she does less well in other states. So it seems to be that some people dislike her and some people like her. But then she's running to be president, and no president has ever had 100% approval ratings. I think, though, what we have taken away from this rather extraordinary campaign is that Bernie Sanders has proved to be a lot more popular than people thought maybe he would be. Even though it looks now as though he's not going to win, there are certainly a lot of people who've voted for Bernie Sanders, presumably because they don't like Hillary Clinton. So that's an issue that she's going to have to deal with if she does finally tie up this nomination. She needs to get the other voters who would normally vote Democrat to get behind her so that she can take on, well, it looks like she'll be taking on Donald Trump.
To get Sanders voters, could she not take him on her ticket?
Well, I think that this is all in the future in terms of who she has as her running mate. Nobody, though, expecting to have Bernie Sanders as a vice presidential nomination. A lot of people thinking it's going to be one of several senators, but all of those discussions really are behind the scenes. You don't hear people really talking about that until they've secured the nomination. So Hillary Clinton will certainly be hoping that she can win all 5 states today. Certainly the political commentators here think that if she does, then she'll have victory all but assured, and then we'll start to hear maybe a bit more about who else will be on her ticket.
All right, let's look at the Kasich Cruz coalition. Is this a deal that's come a little too late?
Well, I think so. A lot of people are saying this probably is too little, too late. Donald Trump has got up ahead of steam and he seems to be fairly unbeatable. He's had a few wobbles over the last few months where he said certain things that even for him have been very controversial, and his support has waned. But he now seems to have bounced back. And if the polls are to be believed, he's going to win all 5 states today. So what Kasich and Cruz are trying to do is to stop him reaching this magic number of 1,237 delegates. That's the number he needs before the convention in July. If he can get that number, then it's his. He's won. But what Kasich and Cruz are trying to do is to stop him getting to that number, and then things get a lot more complicated. It becomes a contested convention, and the delegates after the first round of voting can then change their mind and vote for whoever they like in the second and third rounds, and that then becomes lots of horse trading, a lot of negotiations behind the scenes. So Trump trying to avoid that and is hoping for outright victory.
All right, so there could be a potential free-for-all, but Trump has often complained that the process for choosing a nominee for the presidential election is rigged against him.
Yes, he said that pretty much from day one, he's always thought that he's been the outsider, the man who sold himself as not being a politician, up against all these politicians who know the tricks of the trade, who are doing the deals and the negotiations behind the scenes to get the delegates. He says that's not fair. He says he's got the most votes and therefore he should be the nomination. And so that might still happen. If he can get this magic number of delegates, then we forget about all of this, and Donald Trump is the man that the Republicans have picked. But there are plenty in the Republican Party who think that if Donald Trump is the nomination, he doesn't stand a chance against Hillary Clinton. So that's why these negotiations, everything behind the scenes, that's why this is taking place, because there are plenty of people who think that Donald Trump is very bad news, even though he's winning very comfortably at the moment.
And when can we expect results, John?
Well, we'll get the first sense of results as soon as the polls close later this evening. Pretty much the American TV networks here will predict a winner within a few minutes of the polls closing. Certainly, if the polls are to be believed that we've seen so far, then you can expect Hillary Clinton to win all 5 states, and you can expect Donald Trump to win all 5 states as well. But we'll find out exactly, well, later this evening, US time.
All right, John, thank you very much. Our correspondent, John Beaver in Washington.